Well, I think the first thing was to just set my expectations correctly. You were a piece of that, definitely. I think you were really upfront in the course and just in your other materials of saying this isn't an overnight thing, right? And I think once you start learning more about how Google works, how SEO works, then it really clicks of, yeah, this is going to take some time. But the nice thing about, doing the KGR, at least in the beginning, is that you do see some progress and you can see some results right away, which is the key to staying motivated, right? So if I hadn't seen a single dollar in 6 months, I probably wouldn't continue. And that's really realistic if you don't go after like some KGR keywords, right? So if I had only gone after giant keyword traffic phrases, I probably would have burned out also, no matter how passionate I was about the topic. So I think it's really important right up front to tell yourself that if you need a quick fix, if you need like a way to pay your mortgage next month, this is not that. But for me, I wanted something supplemental to kind of diversify my life income, right, from my other business. And I wanted something that I would enjoy working on in my own time and eventually could be more of a lifestyle for me than running a services-based business, which I do now.
Perfect. And another thing I want to point out and emphasize, so we talked about some of the expenses and you like broke even before, you're making profit now, you could reinvest like comfortably and you're continuing to make a profit each month. The value of your site is probably in the like $70,000 to $90,000
That's a nice number.
Yeah. So like if someone is thinking, hey, that's a lot of money that you spent,
Right.
it's actually worth quite a bit. If you look at evaluation, if you shopped it around, I know because you're obsessed with it and you spend so much time, you're not going to sell it, but it's comforting to know.
Building an asset, and should an emergency arise, you built something of value, which I do think is important.
Yeah. So, yep, you put in a lot of money, even more time, but you have like an asset that's very clear that there's value there. So very good. Mistakes. So we all end up making some mistakes, even with expert guidance and when you try to do a good job. So can you talk about a few mistakes that you made?
Yeah, I think there were quite a few things that I did partly well, which I classify as partly mistakes. So one of the things that I did well was create like an Excel spreadsheet right off the top. Every article, like my checklist of what needs to be done, every article. So I have a really clear sense of like every post that's out there, when it was posted, like how long I expect it to take to rank, all that good stuff. That's nice. I did not do that for things like images, right? Which I now kind of wish I'd gone back and done. That I'd kept track of which free stock sites I got things from just to cover my bases. Once you're 200 posts in, that seems pretty giant to go back. Had I to do it again, I would probably add that to my nice little spreadsheet, just as like a comfort factor. So that would be one. I would also be a little bit more strategic about the social media stuff. What I did well was focusing on Pinterest primarily. I wrote another article about Pinterest and how it drove, I think it was like 13 to 15% of my early traffic. And I think it's still right around there. I think it was like 15 or 18% last time I checked for the year, which is really good when you're still trying to get organic traffic and you want it from anywhere. So for me, Pinterest was a great place to go because it is a search engine. So you can apply a lot of what you're already doing on the site to Pinterest. So that was good. I wish that I had not started an Instagram. Kind of a time suck, and I don't work on it, and I don't like doing it. So that's probably not a huge advantage to be spending any time on, or just the time spent feeling guilty about not spending time on it. I don't need to be doing that.
Yeah.
So I would have been a little bit more strategic about that. I think the other thing I would have spent more time on is the link building, which you and I have been talking about lately, and just doing a little bit more of that along the way. So for me, I needed to focus on content, right? And that was where I put all my time, my energy. And I got to like 200 articles. And I felt really good about that. And then now we're to the point where I need to catch up on the link building. So that's kind of the next thing for me. If I were to do it over, I would have been doing that kind of the whole way.